Hi everyone, this is Gayle and welcome to my channel tonight. Sorry about the late start. For some reason, it just would not work. Oh, but anyway, glad you're here. I really appreciate it. So this has been a long couple weeks and I have missed a couple of live streams for which I apologize. It's just been, bear with me here. It's been a couple of weeks. Anyway, again, thank you. My name is Gayle, and welcome to my hashtag Be Bodacious channel, where we are all about not letting life get in the way of living. Although there are some times where we kind of have to, go around things, if you will. So I am live, thankfully. Yay. Had some problems with YouTube tonight. It's just like that um, for whatever reason. And yeah, I'm noticing on my Facebook page, I just pulled up, sorry, my YouTube channel that I just pulled up. I was going to post it on Facebook, but this is saying that I am not live, even though I am. It says waiting for Be Bodacious. Let me see if I can figure out what's going on here, because I am obviously live. All right, so I don't know. This is my national parks book. Yep. So obviously, YouTube is a little confused still. I don't know. I just don't know. But it says on live the whole thing. So I am going to play around with some settings here. Okay. This has been like my life, So what I'm doing is it's apparently gotten two things going on. One is showing live public, and the other one says waiting. So I guess we're just going to wait together for me to show up. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, this is like crazy here. Let me go in and try pulling it up and see if I'm showing up at all. Yep. Okay. So I am showing up. I'm showing up on my main page. I am there. And it says I'm live. Isn't that just the weirdest thing ever? So, anyway, for those starting in, Classic Model O Scale Trains is in. Hi. Welcome. I'm sorry for the weird beginning here. It's just, I don't know what was going on. Let me check over here on my other screen. Yeah, so, yeah, I have no clue what's going on. Hey, Gayle, I found you a railroad museum in Colorado. Where? Where? Because I'll put that on my list. That's definitely, and obviously you all, Classic Model O Scale Trains is all about trains. And just found one in a museum in Colorado. He's got some really neat train stuff on his channel. I can't talk tonight. So check it out if you haven't already. So where is it in Colorado? And I'm trying to decide too if there's a lag time, how much of a lag time this might be. It's called the Colorado Railroad Museum in Golden, Colorado. Ooh, I've actually been to Golden, Colorado. Not lately, but I have been there. So it may be a little while before I can go back, though. So bear with me. Yeah, I wrecked my van. Some of y'all know that, so sorry about that. It's just, I just got word. I'm doing a video on it. The video, first part of it, is going to go live tomorrow. And then the other part of it will go live day after tomorrow. The big concern was whether or not I had totaled the van, and we're going back and forth on the insurance company on that. What is this coming up here? Hold on. Okay. So anyway, got something going on with the insurance company on that. I should know more tomorrow, which will be great. So hopefully around 8 a.m. tomorrow morning, I'll hear. So we're just going to go back and forth. Until then, my husband is my transportation, so my wings are really clipped. It's one of those things. I am fortunate to have a husband who is willing to take me most places, but of course he has to work, so he can't go everywhere that I want to go. Y'all know how that is. You have vacations sometimes, and the wife can't get the schedule to match the husband, and vice versa. So, it's one of those things. But hopefully, I'll have another vehicle relatively soon, so I can get back out and travel. It's not going to be a van. They're expensive. The prices on vans have shot up. So it's going to be a while before I get another van. But, that's okay. Service Dog Pipsy and I made it through the wreck okay. So, what else do you want, Ooh, Classic Model O Scale Train says this railroad museum is in narrow gauge. Cool. That will be cool. Although any railroad museum is cool. Just saying. So all right. So a couple of things here. Let's talk about the fun stuff first. You want to talk about fun stuff first? I think that's what we should do. Okay. So I was asked by a woman named Andrea. Andrea, thank you for watching this channel. I got your answer here. And what she wanted to know is, what do you do if you have a national parks passport book and you run out of pages? So I've talked about these books before. I love mine. It's just been a great record of where I've been. So you buy the book and you take it to the different national parks, and you can get it stamped with the day and date when you're there. But sometimes you do run out of pages, and for that, they have got a solution. I'm going to talk about two solutions. First solution is you can buy pages. It's an expander pack. You can get them at national parks, at the bookstores. So there you go. So you can do that. And they just fit in really super easily. Okay, I'll show you how. Don't worry, don't panic. They are, okay, there's several in a package. Let's see, 16 pages for national park cancellations, 2 pages for national stamps, and 2 pages for regional stamps, 20 pages in all. Really, I don't worry about the stamps. All I do is the cancellations. But if you want to do a stamp, it's listed on there. I'll hold it up. Affix regional stamp here. I'm not going to fool with stamps. I've got enough cancellations to keep me happy. So what you do, you just take your book, open it to where you need the page inserted. Okay, look, Classic Model says, hey, Gayle, look up Rio Grande Southern number 20. I will do that after this live stream. You want to give me a hint? Okay. This isn't working as well as I'd hoped. But anyway, just take your book and slip your page right in there. And it just fits in, kind of pops. And you can take your finger and, just pop it in. And then voila, you have another page in your book. So that's really easy. And it's kind of fun. This little book has solved so many arguments between me and my husband. It's really neat to have. It's just kind of fun. And if you go to a national park and you forget your book, because I know that's going to be your next question, they got you covered there too. They sell stickers. And all you do is you stamp your sticker and you put it on whatever page you need to put it on. Really easy. Really easy. It only takes a minute. And the passport books, I'll go ahead and point out another really cool thing. These are divided by colors into each section. As you flip through here, you can see on the edges there that they're in different colors to help you find the areas. And those areas have cancellation stamps in the same color. So like, look here, there's a purple tab on it and my stamps are in purple. So any section that you go to, this one's blue and the stamps are blue. Not stamps, cancellations. I just call them rubber stamps. So there you go. One of the real original Rio Grande Southern Narrow Gauge Railroad Spikes from 1888. That one was found in Lizard Head, Colorado. Ooh, neat. I'm writing down the train so I can remember that. Rio Grande, Southern number 20. I can't hold on to things now. Okay, got it. So I'll look it up right after the live stream. Hey, Valerie Reese is in the house. Hi, Valerie. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Sorry about the little delay getting started there. I don't know what YouTube was doing, so I'll go back and click it out later. So, okay. I've missed the past 2 weeks of live stream, and I apologize. My life has been totally insane. So, brief story to catch you all up is I went to service dog school back, I guess, 2 weeks ago now. Got through the whole week. We had to spend a day out. My girlfriend went with me. We ditched our husbands and ditched our families so we could go. And we left on the 13th. Had to spend, 14th. Had to spend a night out. Got to Concordia, Kansas on the 15th. Well, service dog school started from there, and it is so busy. Like, they pack so much into this week. So class begins at 10 o'clock Monday morning, and they call it Magic Monday or Magical Monday. And that's when you get introduced to your new service dog. So they brought him out. He was so cute, kind of homely, my opinion. The girl that was with me, she thought he was adorable. He is in his own way, kind of homely, but cute. Anyhow, we got paired up on Monday morning. So what you do is you do a lot of classroom stuff and a lot of walking around in the room so you can really learn how to handle your dog. And then that evening, you go someplace and it just keeps on going and going and going. So it really kind of started from about 10 o'clock Monday morning until graduation for service dog school was supposed to be at 4 o'clock. And it really was at 4 for everybody else except me. I didn't graduate. It was through no fault of my own, I promise. But once again, I got the dog and he just fine in class, perfect in class. We did the public access test and he absolutely nailed it. He did great. You know, we're in the mall, the arcade's there, kids are running around, the food court is there because we're right there at the food court, and there's arcade games. So I have all of this running around, and he is doing great. But going out places when he was not around the other dogs, his little brain shut down. His brain just went right out the window. So what I think was happening was he was watching the other dogs in the public access test and taking some cues from them. So if we're in school and we're looking at other people for the answers, that's called cheating, right? Anybody ever get in trouble for that at school? So I got him, and it just wasn't working. So Friday morning of what was supposed to be graduation, they pulled the dog. Friday morning. Hence, I did not graduate. But they're really doing a lot to make it up for me. Like, I can't complain. It's one of those things that just happens. So we're talking about a couple of different breeds again, and probably late September, early October, she's offering to bring it out. So, and stay a few days here and go over some training and make sure I can pass public access with this dog. And in the meantime, I have Pepsi. What happened to your hand? Sorry, I got a late notification. I am just glad you got a notification because YouTube's was a little weird. I was actually doing the live stream and talking. Oh, by the way, Peter's in the house. Peter Parker, aka Spider-Man the Hero, is in. So, hey. So at the very beginning of the live stream, here I am. I'm doing my stream. I've started. Life is good, except it's not. And that's when I look at my channel, and it comes up that they're waiting on me. So I don't know why, but they were waiting on me. And here we go. So what happened to your hand? Sorry, I got a late notification. I'm going to talk about the hand in just a second because it relates to service dog school. So when you go to service dog school, or I sometimes call it service doggy boot camp, when you go, you can't take your existing service dog if you already have one. And that is because having your existing dog interferes with the bonding that you need to have with your second dog. So they tell you don't bring him. But you have to remember, I'm expecting to come home with a service dog. I did not expect or plan on him being pulled, which is what happened. So I don't have a service dog. I'm coming back home. My best friend's with me. And we stop at this welcome center in Kentucky. And oh my gosh, the welcome center is just like this huge plantation house. It is absolutely gorgeous. So she's taking pictures. I'm taking pictures. She's over there. I'm over here. And I think I'm going to step right over here on the grass just a little bit so I can get a better shot of the building. Like, who has not done this, right? So I step on the grass, got the pictures that I wanted, turned around, come off the grass, and boom, hit a low spot in the yard and pitch forward. Classic Model O Scale Train says, tomorrow I'll be working on my RGS 1888 Railroads bike, and he's from Kentucky. That's cool. That's really cool. Well, we were coming into Kentucky around Paducah. Don't remember the name of the welcome center. But they're still working on it. They're still refurbing it. And it's going to be gorgeous. It's just this old white plantation style house. It's gorgeous. But anyway, I start to step on the sidewalk, and instead, I hit the dip in the yard. I pitch forward, and I'm actually falling farther than you normally would because I'm up a little higher than the sidewalk. So I pitch forward, and like immediately, boom, you know how you start hurting all over. And I couldn't catch my friend's attention to get her over to me. But these two ladies, God bless them. I don't know who they are, but I appreciate them so much. They actually came over and helped me get up because my leg didn't want to work. So, one of those just weird things. But if I'd been able to have Pipsy with me, then I could have held on to his harness, or if not held on to his harness, then he could have helped me up. He does DPT work, and sometimes doing DPT on my leg actually can help me maneuver my other leg so I can get up. So immediately I know I'm in trouble with my arm, because with my hand rather, because it started really swelling, of course, which is what hands do when you've got a problem. So next day I go to the doctor and they're looking at it and they're like, yep, took the x-ray, and I have broken a couple of little bones on the side of my hand. Right now I don't need surgery, which is wonderful because I've decided I'm allergic to pain, and surgery always has pain involved. So right now I'm okay. I don't have to have surgery. What they're going to do is I go back on the 10th of July. They're going to re-x-ray it, and if nothing has shifted, then I'm home free. If one of the bones has shifted, then I've got problems. Right now they're where they're supposed to be, except they're like all cracked. And I am so over it with broken bones because earlier this year I fell and broke my back. Pretty sure my daughters had been stepping on cracks, so I blame them for the vertebrae in my back. But this time I can only blame myself. And when I fell, I also, messed up my knee, twisted my ankle, all those wonderful things that you do when you fall. Skinned up my hand. So that's one of those things. But we'll see that. We'll see what the X-rays say on the 10th, and we'll see. Let me see. Going back. I'm in the comments. What happened? I got that. Tomorrow we got that. I'm from Kentucky. Yeah. Peter Parker, aka Spider-Man the Hero, says, "Go and see my new movie, Spider-Man. It is good. 1,000 times better than the new Spider-Man movie." Cool. I have not been to a movie in I don't know when, so that might be a good one to go check out. Classic Model says, "Gayle, did you see the Illinois Central steam locomotive in Paducah, Kentucky?" No, I didn't. We had actually talked about stopping at some places in Paducah and didn't get to. I will say that my hand was actually a factor in that because it was a bummer. And Peter Parker says, "Did you get checked out for a store, Gayle?" Did I get checked out for a store? I don't know. Elaborate on that and help me figure out what you mean there. I got my arms checked out, obviously. But anyway, I've been kind of fussing a little bit about my arm. So I asked the doctor, I'm like, "So how long will it be before I can do dishes again and cook and stuff like that?" And he looks over at my husband because I get back home before I go. And he looks at my husband. He's like, "Oh, I'm pretty sure it's going to be like 6 months before you can," which it's not, but he was trying to help me out there a little bit. So yeah, what can I say? Stroke. Yeah, I didn't have a stroke. All's good. I just fell. I just fell. It happens. It was just totally that dip when my foot hit. So when that happened, I just went over. So nothing to do with my head. So no strokes, nothing like that. The reason, though, that my leg didn't want to work right is because my foot drop is in my right leg, and that is coming from a damaged nerve in my back. It's permanently damaged, a lot of people have, slip disc, ruptured disc, things like that. And I did too. And actually, I still do have a bunch. But it that one, like years ago, caused enough problems that it damaged my nerve, not just pinching it. I had a pinched nerve and then went way beyond that to the point where it's actually damaged. So my foot was just like hanging there, not doing anything. And I had to go to the ER for that. All was good on Friday, except my back was hurting tremendously. And they phoned in some meds, made it better. But then, like that Saturday, it quit working. And then Sunday, it was not working more. So that Monday, I called, and at 11:30 that night, on New Year's Eve night that year, I was going into surgery. So I have the weakness in that leg. And sometimes when I move wrong, it just doesn't want to work. So, yeah. And I think I bruised the other one maybe with a rock or something. Hey, Granny Monster is in the house. Hi, Granny. Oh, the Granny Monster. Thank you for the super chat. $2. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. That helps. Thank you. So yay. And she says, get well soon. So I am doing my best to get well and stay well. It's just not working. So after that whole long week of service dog school and then not getting a service dog and then, falling and hurting my arm, I was going to live stream that night, but I was just hurting too much. So I didn't get to live stream. So that's where I've been the past 2 weeks. Hopefully, from this point out, everything's going to be smooth sailing, right? That's the plan. We're going to stick with the plan. We are. And then hopefully, like I said, hopefully this will work out okay, and I won't have to have any surgery or anything. As long as the bones are in place, they said they're just broken. So if they will just stay in place, it'll be good. But the thing is, I actually do some things with my left hand, and I have to keep reminding myself, don't do that. Like I pick up scissors all the time and I cut with my left hand. I write with my right hand, but I do some things, with my left hand, and I don't even think about it. And I can't do any of those things. So, small potatoes compared to everything. But maybe it's just a reminder I'm getting old and I need to, slow down and things. What can I do? But, I didn't break anything worse. I didn't have a stroke. I didn't get a head injury. I was still able to drive the car home, which was really good because the insurance company was covering a rental and I was driving my husband's. But the thing is, with my leg the way it is, I wear a leg brace. Keeps me upright most of the time. Sometimes still have issues, obviously, when I broke my back, but I can't drive my husband's car when I'm wearing the leg brace. So that was another thing going against me when I fell, because I didn't have it. I didn't have a service dog. So those two things that usually help just weren't there. So, but hopefully, depending on what happens with the van, hopefully I'll get another car soon. We'll just see. And I got a video coming out about that tomorrow. Then I'll hear from the insurance company, supposedly first thing Monday morning. Y'all know how that goes. And we'll get it straightened out. All right. Granny Monster says, been praying for you and watching the journey. Thank you. I appreciate those prayers. I literally am writing on a ring a prayer, apparently. I don't know what I would do without the prayers. So thank you. I guess without prayers, I would be breaking both arms, right? So, yeah. And it was so funny because when I finally got home, or finally got to Knoxville, told my husband, oh, I've broken my arm, I think, or broken my hand, not really sure which. It all hurts, and I'm going to have it checked out while I'm here. So, I'm here in Knoxville, and I got a hotel room. And so I live 3 hours from Knoxville. Knoxville just happens to be where the better medical care is. He drives down, and this is like in the late afternoon, early evening hours. And he's like, no, I'm going to drive down. So by the time he gets stuff, packed up and stuff here, it's close to midnight before the guy comes in. That's on Sunday night. So Monday, I was getting this checked. But he was so sweet. He's like, what if you need something? What if you can't get somewhere? So, yeah, he drove down. He brought the rental car. I was in his car. So after I went through, got this x-rayed, we just simply dropped that rental car off. So there you go. Let's see. Classico model scale model trains. I can't talk tonight. Classic model O scale train says, hey, Gayle, I have a friend. His name is Mark Hubert, and he has a YouTube channel. His name is Lice. He has a video on the 1952 DRGW wreck on the Monarch branch. So Lice is his channel name? Or Heis? Wait a minute. I need to be able to see better. Heis. Okay. I'm going to write that down too, so I can check it out. Okay, you'll send me the friend's video. Thank you. Thank you. So, and I am kind of dreading one of my doctors finding out that I've broken another bone, because I've got my endocrinologist, and he's like, if you keep breaking bones, we're going to have to put you on some kind of weird infusion medicine. So, yeah, pray for that too. I don't want to do it. Granny Monster says, ouch. Classic model O-scale train says, I'll send you my friend's video. Yes. Granny says, no more of the bone break, LOL. Not even if you're on stage and someone tells you to break a leg, should you? Right? Okay, classic model is saying, hey, Gayle, what's your email? I'll type it in. Actually, it's a hunt and peck kind of thing. It's actually my name.com. Did I type it right? GayleCrabtree.com. Here you go. There you go. And your Granny Monster's comment, if someone tells you to break a leg on stage, you definitely don't want to. I actually had somebody tell me, or ask me rather, why are you telling me to break a leg? Because we were doing a play at the time. This was about 2 years ago. And we were doing a play. It was a play at church. And as, people go on, you're like, hey, break a leg, wishing him luck. And so she looks at me, she's like, why are you telling me to break a leg? I don't like that. So we had to go through after the play and explain to her that it was actually a good thing. Lots of superstitions in the theater, lots of them. She's waited the way it goes. Granny Monster's filling this in. The term to break a leg actually means when the curtains split, that is the leg in which the curtains fall back. So when you're told to break a leg, okay, see, it's not a bad thing to tell somebody that. There you go. Thanks for the scoop there, Granny Monster. Okay, thank you, Classic Model. I will check it out after the live stream. So thank you for telling me that you're going to send it, because sometimes my email it's Yahoo based. It's Gmail based, even though it's my name. Yeah, Granny Monster says it's a wish for a good night opening night. We got the full scoop there. Granny says, how old is they tell you to break a leg and go soak your leg? How old is they tell you to break a leg and go soak your head? Then they probably don't like you as much as you thought. LOL. Granny Monster says her microphone didn't get that. All right. It's okay. It's okay. Voice texting. Oh my gosh. Like, y'all, obviously, I have a Southern accent. And voice texting with a Southern accent leads to some very interesting conversations. Let's just say that. Classic Model O-Scale Trains is going to send me a picture of the 1888 RGS Railroad Spike. It's really weird looking. Ha! That's cool. That's cool. I look forward to seeing it. And every time I go through Casey Jones, through Jackson, I keep thinking I'm going to stop at the Casey Jones Museum. I have yet to catch that thing when it's open. Hopefully next time we go through, which I don't know when that'll be. I know it will be April of next year, if not before then, because baby girl's birthday's got to be there. So, yeah, thank you. I look forward to seeing that railroad spike. So that's been kind of my thing lately. Granny says, call Gayle. I'm being called to dinner. Love you all. Take care. Watch that arm and don't break any legs. Sounds like a plan. That's what I'll do. You enjoy dinner, and thank you again. And you all, don't forget to give me a like on the live stream, please, and subscribe if you haven't already done so. I appreciate it. And Valerie Reese says, have a great evening, GM, which is Granny Monster. So, yeah. Now, Valerie Reese has been a busy lady, too. She has been out doing a bunch of things. Neat channel. She's all about the adventure. So, I'm going to plug that. Go check her out if you have time, if you can. Yeah. And, of course, Spider-Man, the hero. Peter Parker. Got to go check him out too. So anyway, hopefully soon my life will calm down and I'll be able to go out and have some fun. This is putting a damper on things, but it's not going to last forever. You know, this too shall pass and all that. You just have to roll with the punches and work it into whatever you're doing. So as soon as I get my van or car back, I think they're going to total it, personally. Hubby does not think they're going to total it. I think they're going to. Because when you look at the van, everything on the outside looks great. And I really think that's why it's sticking in hubby's mind that they're not going to total it. Because everything looks great. But I went off the edge of the pavement when I was having an asthma attack. So my van ran at an angle on the edge of the pavement. I didn't really hit anything. I did kind of clip a culvert a little bit, but by the time I got way down to the culvert, it just really did not matter. And honestly, as God works these things out, I know a couple of people literally in the county that are not related to the church. I wrecked in front of one of their houses. This is an area that does not have cell phone service. So I was not able to get a signal. Sort of wasn't able to get a signal. Google Crash Detection picked it up and asked me if I needed assistance. So I thought I had sent the little text message thing to everybody on my emergency contacts list. Turns out it hadn't. But anyway, there's no signal there. So I would have had no way to get in touch with my husband if I hadn't literally wrecked like right in front of her house. And not only that, but her dad's a mechanic. So he took a look at the van. And, you know, when a mechanic looks at your vehicle and goes, oh boy, yeah, you know you got problems. So That's what he said. I was able to get it home. But, looking at it, it's fine. I just think that the undercarriage is toast, basically. So we'll see. It was making a lot of noises when I got it home. Wasn't steering well, things like that. So, we'll just see. But I'm not hurt. Service dog Pipsy's not hurt. Could not have asked for a better bad situation, I guess, because there was nobody coming. I didn't hit anybody. The whole thing, it just could have been a lot worse than what it was. I'm just going to say that. So, yeah. Oh, okay. And I went back and looked. I'm flipping here. Checking out my Facebook, when I got the direct message asking me about the passport book and adding what to do when you run out of pages, she also wanted me to clarify what a passport book is. And I know I've talked about this before, but I'll talk about it again. So the passport book is a book, and it's called Passport to Your National Parks. And it's really, I think it's a pretty fun book. The front has a pouch, and in the pouch is normally a map and information about all the parks. However, I took it out and I lost it like years ago. So obviously that's not going to work, but it's in there. And then as you flip through, it's got information about the parks. It's divided up into various sections. So like there's one for the Southwest, there's one for the Northeast, Central, and so forth. Southeast region. So I'm just going to pick on that one. Southeast region. Here we go. It's in purple, and it's got the national parks in it. And man, if you want me to, I can do a whole video on this at another time. Southeast region, and it says, in the minds of some, the Civil War defines the South. First shots roared from Confederate batteries arching above the Charleston Harbor toward Fort Sumter. Then Kentucky-born Abraham Lincoln acted to stop the secession change. And it talks about Stones River, Vicksburg, Chattanooga, and so on. So it's got some of the information just real quick about the parks. And there's a little listing right there in each section about the various parks. So it gives you the name, and you can look them up. Go on the internet, look up each park. Also, parks change. They add new national parks, which is really cool. And sometimes they just tweak them a little bit, like they did White Sands in New Mexico. And it went from a national monument to a national park. Really cool. So on the inside of each section, like I said a few minutes ago, you can have them canceled, which is just where you take a rubber stamp. And they're over there. Stamps are in the bookstore. Rubber stamps to cancel these things are in the bookstore. It's free. It's just the getting them stamped is free. The book, I think, is like $15 from the National Parks bookstore. You don't have to have this book to get the stamping going on. You can take a notepad, your own little book, anything that you want to do. I wanted the information about the parks. I wanted the map that I lost. So that's why I got this book. And I like that it's small. I can put it in my backpack or my purse, things like that. Just, cooler, just anything that, will keep it safe. And I've had this since I was looking at it. My first stamps are back in 2009. Hope you can see that. Yeah, 2009. That's back when I spoke at the Lincoln Memorial. So I got it stamped from everywhere we went on that trip. So flip on over, there are national park stamps that you can actually buy. Now, when I say stamps, stamp. I'm talking about the rubber stamp, and you just hit that, and it's also called a cancellation. If you want to spend money, which they always want you to do at the bookstores, then you can buy an actual stamp. And it's kind of like a stamp that you would use on the mail, so forth. And there are places where you can affix the stamp. They're large, and they're just a sticker that you just put on there. I don't like those as well. I just like having the rubber stamp thing going on. So, yeah. And it's really nice. I said a minute ago, this has solved so many arguments between me and my husband and places that we have been. It's really been worth like the $15 or so that they are now. Because we were talking once before about Alaska, like one of my favorite states, right? And the big question was, did we go to Gates of the Arctic National Park? And he was like, no, we never saw it. And I was like, yeah, we got close enough that you could see Gates of the Arctic National Park. They pointed in the general direction, and like you could see it from where we were, right? So we got to going back and forth, and I just whipped out my book, and I was like, yep, there it is, right there. Right here, rather. Gates of the Arctic National Park. So I got this stamped because it was the closest national park to Gates of the Arctic. To really go see it requires an airplane. I ain't got that kind of money. So, yeah, it was just nice to be able to solve it. The other thing was we were talking about Harriet Tubman and the Harriet Tubman Trail. And lo and behold, I have a stamp on that. So, yeah. So those are cool. And again, if you forget your book, it's okay. You can buy stickers. You can have those stamped. They also usually have pieces of paper. So as you flip through it, as I flew here, you can see where I've stapled the little pieces of paper on. So it's just kind of a fun thing. And like I said, you can use a book, a notebook, whatever you want to use. You don't have to have this unless you just want information about the parks. But I will say, I suggest going and looking up the parks individually online if you figure out what you want to do, because information changes. Right now, the big thing is the national parks are requiring timed tickets for a lot of national parks, and that's kind of a pain, but it's not like advertised. So you've got to go to the website and look and see if they're one of the parks that is requiring the timed tickets. They're usually free, but they've got to control the crowds. And this came about after 2020, but I really think it was under consideration probably before 2020. Just saying. So it all came about, like during that time, and they stuck with it. And that's partially because when the crowds get really big, damage starts to happen. People just don't pay attention to the rules, and they'll go off trail. They will not throw things away like they're supposed to, and all that stuff. So to help control that, that's why they have the time tickets. We even got caught in that. We wanted to go to the Truman home, and yeah, couldn't get in. They had time tickets. So right next door to the Truman home in Independence, Missouri is the old jail from like the 1850s. And that was pretty cool. It's like $6 to get in, $5 if you're a senior citizen. And yeah, Frank James was held there for like 122 days. It was really interesting because with his kind of celebrity status, his jail cell was different than anybody else's. So he had a nice bed and he had nice sheets and just he got to take his meals with the jailer and the jailer's family and just had all this stuff going on that the other prisoners just didn't get. Now, as you might suspect, things happened later. They actually put the jail in a house, and the jailer lived there. So it was just really cool hearing about all of this. And so he lived there. And even though Frank James got special treatment, the James Younger gang came later, and Frank was a part of it. And so they shot the sheriff, aka jailer, and burned the place. And while the shooting was going on, the guy's 4-year-old son was up in an upper room in his bedroom, and he got shot when they shot up the place. Got shot in the arm. Then after all the shooting was done, then their hallmark signature trade was to set the building on fire. So he actually burnt the facade of this house, which was the jail, and they put the fire out. But when you go into the jail, they've got this little section in the ceiling. It's not really big. It's probably 16 by 16, something like that. So it's not big at all. But you can see the damaged rafters are still up there. And they didn't want to take them down because they wanted people to see what was going on. So then after all of that happened later, the kid who got shot, when they shot it up, he was 4 years old, and he later joined the James Younger gang. So it's Jesse James, Frank James, and Cole Younger who were like the masterminds, so to speak. If you're not familiar with the James gang, they're kind of the masterminds. So sometimes you'll see it referred to as the Jesse James gang. Sometimes you'll hear it referred to as the Frank and Jesse gang. Sometimes it'll be the Cole Younger gang or the James Younger gang. So, yeah, I thought that was fascinating, because I would hope that today we wouldn't necessarily put our criminals up on a pedestal like that. And hopefully they wouldn't get special treatment. And then I remembered, oh yeah, John Gotti. So, what can you do? But anyway, that's right next to the visitor center for the Truman House. So if you don't get a time ticket to go see the Truman House, go literally right next door. The walls adjoin, and see the other one. So it's just neat. And Independence, Missouri has like a bunch of different trails. So when you go, there's actually this kind of spot or area where you're like on 5 different trails. The Oregon Trail, the California Trail, the Mormon Pioneer Trail, the California Trail that went to Los Angeles. I think it was San Diego. Like, I don't even remember what all, but it was really cool. Kind of neat, that's to me, that's one of the best things about traveling, is learning the history and being exposed to the culture. So, yeah. All right. So Classic Model says, I sent you a picture of my RGS Railroad bike from 1888. That is awesome. And hopefully things will work out this year so I can do the kind of tour of railroad history in Tennessee like I had hoped to back a year ago. So what can I say? Hopefully. And that's, if it works out with the vehicle, if I can stop breaking things, if it works out with the vehicle, is probably the biggest thing. Because I can work everything else out except for that. So, yeah. So, do I have anybody in here that knows anything about cars? Because when I looked at the van, it looked like my axles and stuff were shoved backwards. And that's where, like up front, that's where a bunch of the groaning was coming from. And it was kind of like this groaning and scraping, kind of really weird noises coming from mostly the front, but I had it going on the back end too. But I will say, all of the work that my husband did stayed in place. The only thing that did not stay in place was the bed in the back was a pull-out bed done with slats. So when you pushed it in, the slats were like right next to each other. And then when you pull them out, that expands the bed. So it went all the way across to a bench that we had in there. So going across the whole back of the van made like a queen size bed. So when it was folded up, that main part, like right in the front of the bed, it wasn't fastened down. So the only thing that happened was it flipped over. That was it. So I was really, really, really glad that like the air conditioner held in place that he had installed in the back door. The fan stayed in place. Solar panels stayed in place. Cabinets stayed in place. Although when I wrecked the van, the cabinets, I had just put like fabric across the front of them. I didn't want to fool with doing the doors. And I had everything, go flying out of the cabinets because of that. So if I am fortunate enough to do a van again, I am going to nail those suckers down and we're going to have wood or something. But if you all know, like, kind of can tell me about like the undercarriage, because the outside looks fine. It's no more beat up than it used to be. But just it's making that weird groaning. And it looks like it's pushed back. And the van, when it's sitting, looks kind of crooked. So, but I'll know more about whether it's totaled or not tomorrow, aka first thing in the morning. Hey, Pete Pablo 1990 is in. So welcome. And y'all don't forget to give me a like on the live stream, please. It really does make a difference. When YouTubers say it makes a difference, we are not kidding. It makes a big difference because it tells YouTube's algorithms that you found some value here and you liked it, so they're more likely to serve it up. So Daniel Brown is in. Hi, Daniel. Welcome. How are you today? Good New Zealand. Welcome to Yes, Good, my friend. Love dogs. Good dogs. Love you. Hey, that's awesome. Dogs rock. Like, we literally don't deserve dogs. When you see that written down, it's like, oh, because it's so true. So, yeah. And my dog, my service dog that we have right now, Pipsy, I have got to tell you what he did the other night at church because it was freaking amazing. So we're recovering from Hurricane Helene. We've got lots of help coming in, thank God, but we still need help. And we have a mission team that was staying at my husband's church. So all of a sudden we get this phone call saying, hey, pastor, don't want to really bother you too much. Just want you to know the fire alarms are going off. Oh boy. So we get in the car and we hop down there and I'm like, I'm just going to take the dog and I can't really steer him well because I broke my hand, but I went ahead and took him. So I didn't bother putting his harness on there. And so we have the fire trucks with all those sirens. We have the fire alarms going off. The strobes are going off with the fire alarms. People are talking. People are upset. And he walks in like a boss. It was like none of that stuff was going on at all. It was like he owned the place. So we have all that going on. And he goes in and he just kind of stops. And he just kind of sniffs and he looks and he goes over to this person, paws at the person, which is his alert, and he sits down right there in front of the person. And I was like, it's okay. He's a service dog. He's not wearing his harness right now. Yes, you can pet him. The person was so happy. I don't want to say male or female. I don't want to give away who, too much privacy. But anyway, the person was like, I was about to have a panic attack before he walked up because this is really triggering for me. And I was like, oh. So then this person petted him and he does it again. He kind of is sniffing around and he goes to a couple of people and just flops down at the feet of this other person who is has PTSD, war veteran, and that person got to pet him too, and that person got to feel better. But it's just really, really made me feel super good that despite all the noise and all the racket and people are kind of yelling at each other, he's like, it doesn't matter. He's like, I got a job to do, I guess is what he thought. And he did it. So just throwing that out there about my service dog. I was so very, very proud of my service dog at that moment. And so the plan is when I get my other service dog, this one's going to move into therapy work because he's already had that training. So he's going to move into that. And my other service dog, when I get that one, is going to be my service dog. What a good dog, my friend. Yeah, he's amazing. He's a little yellow lab, and he is just amazing. The problem is that he's so small that I can't reach the harness except with my fingertips. And when I'm out somewhere on like uneven ground, like when I fell and broke my hand, then I really need to be able to grab that harness, and I can't with him. So that's okay. It's going to work out. I know it's going to work out. So yeah. Anyway, just wanted to brag on him. So, all right, we do try to keep this down to about an hour so I can be a good steward of your time. And I want to thank you all for coming out tonight. I have had a blast talking to everybody. Pete Pablo, it was nice meeting you. Daniel Brown, it was nice meeting you. I appreciate you all coming out. So I want you all to go out and have a great week. Be bodacious. Don't let life get in the way of living. Work around it and just enjoy life. So I will see you all Sunday at 7:30 right here on this channel. Thanks again for coming out. You all have a great week, okay? Take care. Bye-bye.